In the Spirit of Lucifer, guys, in the Spirit of Lucifer, this is a video or podcast in relation to the narcissist and the drivers behind the narcissist's behavior from a spiritual perspective. So, hi, coming to you from another one of my travels to Manhattan today, and I have a helper who's asleep in the window at the moment, a furry helper, so I hope that he stays asleep. But let's get into the podcast, notwithstanding the company, the beautiful company. Okay, so this is going to be a series of videos. The first one is going to be just saying it as it is, without any fancy psychological terms, without any fancy philosophy about the narcissists and do they know what they're doing and all this kind of stuff. I feel that we owe it to ourselves, and I owe it to you, having heard so many horrendous stories of what narcissists have done to people in coaching and on the channel here and on other channels. And I'm sure you have a story as well, so please leave some of it down in the comments, whether you agree or disagree with this spiritual take on the narcissist and what they do. The second part will be in another podcast, and that's going to be, are all narcissists malignant to the same degree, and to kind of get into that aspect of it. I really believe it's important to call it what it is, to get rid of any doubts about what you've been through, to stop trying to justify what a narcissist does, fine to understand the psychological behavior patterns. That is great to have that put in order, put in a manual for how the narcissist operates. But understanding and accepting that the drivers behind narcissism are very negative, and taking yourself out of that and depersonalizing it and understanding what the narcissist does, and not having that negativity reflected on you, because it is not about you not being good enough. So I have 10 points here written down, and I'd like to go through them and see what you think. Please, if you agree or disagree, just let me know in the comments. So basically, going into a relationship, we have another human being, and you can call, for want of a better term, the human being you're in a relationship with is bringing resources to you in a relationship, and you're bringing resources to them. However, the difference between a positive approach to a relationship and a healthy one, where that resource is appreciated and reciprocated by another person and nurtured and grown, and the exact opposite of that, where the person is seen as a resource, but it's a resource to be raped, to be reaped, to be taken and destroyed and left so that nothing else can grow there, basically to take in a crop from a field and to destroy it for any further planting or growth in that field, as an analogy. So let's get into the points of the Luciferian spirit, as I would call it. I see the spirit that drives narcissists to do what they do as very malign, very malignant, and very much of the anecdotal Lucifer, the angel, the angel, the fallen angel in the Bible, Lucifer of all things evil and devilish. The first point I would like to make is that Lucifer came from a point of envy. He envied God, he was jealous of God, and he coveted all the magnificence and the glory of what God had and what he'd created, and basically wanted to own that and take it over for himself. And again, we could make this into herself. It's interchangeable. Narcissists come in all sizes, shapes, forms, and sexes. The narcissist is envious of you when they see you. They're envious of your qualities. They're envious of how successful you are. They're jealous of your position in life, your status. They're jealous of your popularity. And they covet what you have. They covet you as a resource. They covet what you bring to the relationship. They covet what you own, who you are, and the qualities you have. And again, this is reflected in the Luciferian spirit. I don't know if that's actually a term, but it's a term I'm going to use here. Point 3, narcissists will not obey. They feel that they are omnipotent, that they are godlike. They want to be God. They don't believe that they shouldn't be God. They feel entitled to be God. And that is the way they live their lives. No one can tell them that they're wrong. If they even perceive someone thinking that they're wrong, they go against that person to such an extent that they would be prepared to destroy them. They're unlike God in that, or goodness in that, if somebody does go against them and makes a mistake, or is perceived as transgressing against them, or actually does, there is no forgiveness in a narcissist. That is a point at which you are their enemy. There is no give, there's no understanding, and there's no compromise. So they basically take no prisoners. You either are all in and you never ever go against the narcissist, and you give of all of yourself and all of your things to the narcissist. And even that is not good enough at times, because the narcissist is very paranoid and will perceive any threat to control, whether imagined or real. A person who is loving, healthy, or is in God's way or God always tries to forgive mistakes, always tries to understand and to compromise, not the narcissist, not the narcissist. There is nothing of goodness in the soul of a narcissist. They do not forgive. It's a total transgression to go against them. Number 5, they entice others to go against God. They entice others to support them and them alone, and to actually be a worshipper at their throne. They entice others into the ego functions. They entice others into non-healthy pursuits, drinking, drugs, making lots of money to use to control others and to be powerful, or to give them some type of status. They aren't about anything that's going to nurture, grow, develop, bond people together. Basically nothing that's going to keep people and humanity intact. The way they offer is that each person is for themselves, and that others are not to be considered merely as tools to be used for the gain of the individual. So they encourage this within a relationship, within the person they're with, to not think about other people, but to fulfill their desires and wants. They actually, point 6, in the spirit of Lucifer, they mock good. They mock good people. They mock you wanting to do something, say, to help your neighbor out. They'll criticize it like, what are you helping that person for God's sake? Even though they use the word God. What are you helping that person for? Do you really think that they're just not ripping you off? Do you really think that they're being genuine? Do you not really think that they're actually using you? Why are you doing that? That's the narcissist's way of looking at the world. And they will do their best to manipulate, to sully, to dirty your way of thinking, so that you no longer think in the way you thought before you met the narcissist. Your compassion for others is dimmed by the narcissists instilling in you a kind of a paranoia that other people are out to get you, and that what you're doing is ridiculous, and that you're being a fool to help other people and to be kind and generous, forgiving and compromising. Number 7, the Luciferian spirit leads you into temptation. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The narcissist knows that we're human, we have weaknesses. They will encourage you into something bad, and you may very well give in to the temptation because they'll emotionally manipulate you into doing things. You may be in the push-pull phase of the narcissistic relationship where they ask you, say, oh, stop being so, controlling or so boring. All you ever do is do your routine and you never break out of it. Let's go out and go crazy. And you go out on, say, this crazy night and they force drink down you, or they say, come on, you're no fun. They'll do all these things to make you feel that maybe you're not good enough and maybe you should try this thing and it looks like it's great fun, and tempt you into becoming something that you're not. And I'm not saying a good night out isn't great, and I'm just trying to make a point that the narcissist will always be trying to tempt you into ways that are destructive to you, and eventually you can maybe end up on one of these crazy nights that you're not used to, doing something wrong or having something wrong done to you, not being able to function in the next day, missing an appointment, going into that type of way of life, tempting you into a hedonistic way of. Number 8, the narcissist causes drama and chaos in relationships, which is part of essentially what is evil in distorting and manipulating your reality. You can't make a fully functioning, fully comprehensive decision when you don't know real from not real. The narcissist will gaslight you into believing a different reality, will tell you lies. They're deceitful in order to manipulate people. This is, again, part of an evil driver that is explained by psychology as a behavior pattern that's self-defensive. This is highly offensive. The narcissist lies. The narcissist deceives. The narcissist bears false witness to people. The narcissist presents you to other people in a false light, leaving out pertinent facts and changing reality. Again, full of Lucifer is the best way I can describe a narcissist. Number 9, and pretty huge, in that calling narcissism a defense mechanism is fine in its way of explaining things psychologically, but narcissists often take a sadistic pleasure, in other words, pain, that they have caused. They are elevated and uplifted by somebody being in pain because they feel more in control of the individual and the situation. That has to have its roots in evil. That is destructive. That is detrimental to humanity, in that God created humanity to love each other, to love our neighbor, to uplift and help, not to cause pain, destroy, and separate. Number 10. The narcissist continually hoovers people back in, or tries to hoover victims back into relationships that were very toxic to start off with, in convincing them that there is a chance, by presenting toxic hope, that the relationship can work and that this individual should come back for more pain disguised as a chance at happiness. That shows no remorse for what has gone before, even when you get the false contrition to entice and tempt a person back into the relationship. There is no remorse there for that person. There is only avarice and greed on the narcissist's part to fully destroy the target of the prior relationship. Again and again and again, the narcissist will go after a person to re-engage them in the relationship that was destroying them, until the person is finally destroyed or is lucky enough to get the information about the narcissistic personality disorder and fully understand that it is not justified by psychology or philosophy, even though both those stories play a big part in the understanding of narcissism. It is essential to understand that what you're dealing with is an unclean spirit. It is not in any way redeemable in the world of goodness or growth. It stands for chaos, drama, destruction of others, and basically goes against the principle of what it is to be human. And therefore I conclude, what else can you call what drives the narcissist's behavior? In seeking to defend themselves, they destroy others. They don't compromise to defend themselves. They don't explain. They blindly act out in ways they know will damage others, justifying it to themselves that they need to survive over all else. But it's more than survival. It's more than just survival. It's the destruction of others. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you like it. And definitely I'd be really interested to read the comments on this one. Bye for now.